Ever since I've been young, I've known that being a creative person was what I wanted to do. That led me to pursuing my dream in New York City to pursue acting. And I spent the last 25 years traveling the world on cruise ships, national tours, film, television, commercials, off-Broadway. Feels like I've been everywhere. And that led me up to COVID, where the whole world shut down and I wasn't able to perform at all. I'm the type of person that have to be creative at all times. I've always wanted to be a writer, and I decided to face my fear. And I read somewhere, they said, the way you become a writer is just by sitting down and doing it. So I sat down in this room with my laptop, and I just sat there, just going, okay, what do I write? And then I remember, well, write what you know. And I looked around and I saw Cece and Sheriff playing, and I go, okay, I know these dogs, I've given them personalities and voices in my head. Let's go from there. Then came the first book, then the second, then the third, and I wrote the rest of the books, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So it's a 10-book series that is fully realized and so fun. And if you read the books and you know me personally, it's all parts of my life that have happened. One deals with my loss and love and fear and joy and sharing, all things that happen to everybody in the world, but just told through animals.
I was studying for my teaching certificate, and he had put on Instagram, like, I'm looking for an illustrator, and I was like, I don't think I can do it, but I'll just throw my hat out there and be like, hey, if you're still looking, I could do that, I have time. And he's like, that would be amazing, and that's where we started. I read through the story, and then I try to picture myself as like a child or even a reader, and like, if I was reading this, what picture would I want to see? Then I start sketching and drawing from these. I kind of have, in the first book, I kind of have little secrets that I've put into my illustrations that I only know about. Like in one of the pages, Kippy was pulling out things out of his hole, and there was a feather. And I put the feather as a blue jay feather because my kids both go to Shepherd and they're the Shepherd Blue Jays. So just kind of like my own little secrets in there that I can look at and show my kids, like, I did that for you, It means a lot. Maybe I didn't have a lot of faith in myself, but Dominic did, and he kind of like, every painting that I showed him, he was like ecstatic. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I am good at this, It's so, he kind of built my confidence, and yeah, we both kind of just lift each other up, sort of, and we went to high school together, but we never hung out together, and now we're just collaborating together, and it's awesome, yeah.
Today is going to be a great day,
thought Sheriff. He laid in his favorite spot by the window, soaking in the afternoon sun.
Well, I had always been a big fan of the old radio shows of the 1930s and 40s, as well as the 1980s Playtone records and Disney books. I knew that I wanted my children's book to be different than any other book that was out there.
I met Dominic, oh my gosh, years ago. We've done a bunch of shows together. We've worked for a cruise line together. We've done some land shows together. And then CE and I were doing a bunch of like immersive podcast musicals ourselves. So we've cast Dom in a bunch of those. And then Dom wrote Cece and the Sheriff and was like so complimentary and so kind and so loving towards our projects as Pipe Dream Theater that he was like, I would really love it if Pipe Dream Theater helped to facilitate an immersive podcast of my book. Dominic set that ball rolling and just sort of let us kick it down the street as far as we could.
So my first job was to shine up the actual book part and to pick out like some fonts and to put everything in a book format for him. I wrote the music for the theme song, programmed it, performed it, and then Liz did the lyrics for that, and then we recorded that. The music with the colors that we chose was cheerful. Everything is just peak cheerfulness. Just wholesome, wonderful,
It's super reminiscent of like Saturday morning cartoons when you and I were kids. Like, because we're all of me, Dom, and Colin are all of the same generation. And it's super reminiscent of that. Like, I think that's why Dom approached us, because that's very much what Pipe Dream Theater is. It's like a new interpretation of an old radio drama.
Our friends did the voices, and they are awesome. They're just the cutest voices. I love them.
Hi, I'm Kitty. Who are you?
I'm Cece, and this is my cousin Sheriff,
said Clementine boastfully. Sheriff slowly peeked out from behind Cece.
Wow! I've never met a chipmunk before.
Sheriff said in awe.
Liz and Colin reached out letting us know that Dominic would be interested in us for playing these dogs. And that was very exciting. Like, I've been acting for a while, working in theater, all of that, but I haven't had the opportunity to really, number one, play a dog. That's a dream right there. And do much content for children, which I really enjoy.
I was pumped. I love any opportunity to not play a human being. So for me, I was immediately like, yes, I'm in. This is great.
So yeah, and from there, Dominic, I was able to meet Dominic. He was interested in having me voice Kippy, who's a chipmunk. I grew up in the 80s, 90s, so I grew up with shows like Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers and Alvin and the Chipmunks. So having the opportunity to do that was something that obviously I was so pumped for.
Cece leapt from the window to greet him. They went back and forth, wrestling and running about.
You have to see what I found in my yard today,
exclaimed Sheriff.
I can't wait,
said Cece.
I love our adventures!
And I know that the dogs are Aussie Doodles, but for me, for some reason, whenever I think about the Sheriff, he's a Jack Russell Terrier in my heart. It was just like super energetic, like little but feels big. And I think with a name like the Sheriff, he takes that very seriously. So he protects his household, but he also likes to have fun.
'Tis our duty as head of the household to do that,
she said, standing in perfect attention.
Cece was described to me as like the older, maybe a little bit more grizzled of the two, and Erin would be the fresh-faced pup. Cece takes herself a little too seriously. She's like an older sister, like here to boss, here to tell, because she enjoys that. But also on the inside, she's pretty recently a puppy. So I like being able to give her moments of like, yeah, I'm so calm, I'm so cool, like you're the new recruit and I've been around for a while, but also, oh my gosh, we're finding the ball and I'm so excited. Letting that little bit of the little puppy come out in her.
This is where I hide all of my treasures I find while exploring.
Kippy told them.
Bringing a character to life was kind of just observing what a chipmunk would do. I don't know, chipmunks always look like they're going on adventures, They're small but mighty, they're very nimble, they always look like they're just very busy, So I took that and, just started exploring different voices, different pitches, and taking that energy and putting it into little Kipster.
Sometimes the things you love the most, you have to pass on to others. Giving happiness and joy to others is better than any toy you could ever own,
he proclaimed.
Oh gosh, it's the best feeling ever. I mean, I think we all grow up with characters that we read either from books or from television shows that we fall in love with. As we age, we still remember those characters. So to be able to be a part of a child's life and then, hopefully they remember us like, oh my gosh, I remember Cece and Sheriff and Kippy and, all those things. It's pretty special.
But just the idea that we get to breathe life into it, we get to be actual voices, we get to turn this into an immersive experience that this child can have.
And people ask us sometimes, like, why do you do it? To do it, to get it made, to have it out there. That's why seeing Dom's book physically out there is such a great thing.
Anyone who's an artist, we got to advocate for ourselves, and we have to advocate for our friends who are artists. And the best way to be an artist is to make art. You can't wait for someone else to tell you to do it. You can't wait for someone else to ask you to do it. And that's what Dom did, right? He got up, he said, I have this book, I want to write a book, I want to write a whole series of books. And he did it. And now look at what's happening, right? He's got these actors that work for him. He's got a composer and a lyricist and producers. He has a documentarian. He has an artist who illustrates his books. He's in bookstores and libraries and schools. And that's what being an artist is. It's affecting other people with your gift.
Well, I had noticed some body twitching that just never stopped, and I didn't know if it was from working out a lot and not being hydrated, but then it just kept going and started spreading across my body. Then the physical therapist was like, no, you need to see a neurologist now. In January of 2023, the doctor came back and told me that I have ALS, or as some people know as Lou Gehrig's disease. And let me tell you, there's nothing like somebody telling you you have a terminal illness with no cure. This diagnosis is not what's going to define me, because I always believe the one power that we have in life is the power of our reaction. It's Abraham Lincoln's quote, in the end, it's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years. And that's what I'm choosing to prove, that I may have a shorter life than most people, but I'm going to live for a lifetime in that. I want kids to take away that I was you. I was a kid with dreams, just like you have, and anything is possible. I never thought I'd be a published author, but here I am sitting here going, yeah, I want to do that, and I did it. And just know that a small town kid like me, growing up in the Midwest, you can grow up anywhere, where it is, but that being my life, all dreams are possible. How you grow up, if life is hard, life is easy, anything, just know that you have the possibility to succeed in anything you want to do.
As Cece and her mom drove away, Sheriff thought about how wonderful their day had been.
I wonder what adventures we'll have next.
He dreamed. The end.